Well guys, since 50 Shades Freed is out now, why not review the first two movies? Because I found out those movies aren't reviewed on my channel. What am I thinking?
Say I did stay. What would happen?
I know if I'm haunting you, you must be.
50 Shades of Grey came out in 2015, the first year I did movie reviews, and took from the director of Sam Taylor Johnson, who is Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife, and stars Dakota Johnson and freaking Jamie Dornan. Hope I say his name right. Who cares, right? This movie basically tells the story of Anastasia Steele, a shy woman who goes on this interview because her friend is sick and she's supposed to interview this person, but she took over her, job, I guess. So she gets to interview Christian Grey, and then Christian became so obsessed with her and made her sign a contract and do all romantic stuff. Guys, I'm gonna keep this review PG, okay? I'm not gonna say everyone else is saying nudie stuff and all that stuff. I'm gonna keep this rant PG. So, 50 Shades of Grey. What is that? Well, basically 50 Shades of Grey is a Twilight fanfiction. This author is obsessed with Twilight, so decided to write a book that's similar to it, and it got so popular just like Twilight did, but made a pretty ass shit ass movie adaptation. Yes, 50 Shades of Grey is an absolute piece of shit. Honestly guys, 50 Shades of Grey, when I was watching this movie, now first of all, I didn't watch this movie in a theater by the way. I rented it. I rented the movie to see how horrible this movie is. And when I was watching it, seriously, this movie was painful to watch. Not just because it's just disturbing, it's freaking because of how boring and bad this movie was. The script is terrible, the acting's terrible, just everything in this movie is freaking terrible. There's nothing to say about it. But I just can't end this review quick, so let's go from movie rent section. Let's start off with the script. The script is terrible. The freaking dialogue in this film was one of the worst pieces of dialogue I've ever seen in a very freaking long time. The lines in the movie, the quotes, were so hysterical. Guys, this review will contain spoilers. If you have not seen 50 Shades of Grey, don't watch it, because I'm trying not to make you watch it. Guys, there are some lines in this movie that I was killing myself laughing at. There is one line that I'm not going to tell because it's too R-rated, but right when I hear that line, I was laughing my ass off of how terrible that line is. That's how the dialogue is just terrible. There is one scene also I kill myself laughing at that is just handled so shittly. It's when, after the meeting with Christian Grey, Anastasia went into the elevator, and then, Christian Grey goes Anastasia, and she's Christian, and the elevator closed, and I was like, what's the purpose of that? Is that supposed to be a romantic type of quote they are having? Seriously. The characters were even awful. Dakota Johnson, now, I like this actress. And I'm gonna give this as a positive. She tried her best. But I don't blame her. Because her character in the movie is just so terrible. She is boring. Nothing in this movie made me interested in her character. She just does everything that Christian Grey said. That's her character. And she did a terrible job as her character. Her acting's fine. But as her character, she did so terrible that made me feel painful watching her character. And speaking of painful, Jamie Dornan as Christian freaking Grey. Oh boy, there's a scene where he's interviewing Anastasia Steele. And you can tell that he's doing this to get a paycheck. Because how bad his acting was. He looks like he was bored during this movie. Honestly, he looks bored. Right from that first dialogue, I was like, yeah, I can tell he doesn't want to make this franchise. That is totally for sure. And his character is a stalker. Like, I'm not even joking. He stalks her in a party. He stalks her in a store. Like, in the store, she was, like, working. And then you see Christian Grey's just, like, standing there and saying, I thought it was you. Like, how does he freaking know what store she works in? She doesn't know anything about her. Except she's there interviewing him. That's how terrible his character is. He's a stalker. Even there's a scene where he freaking goes to her house and make out with her. Without her even being frightened. Like, seriously. Like, seriously, his character is a creepy stalker. I would have liked this movie more if this movie focuses on that. Like, he's a stalker. Anastasia goes like, leave me alone. He's like, no, I love you. Like, freaking The Boy Next Door or something like that. That would be terrible. But at least it would be better than this type of freaking character of Christian Grey. Speaking of that, let's talk about, let's keep this PG, the makeout scenes. That's what I'm gonna call it. They're really freaking boring. Like, honestly, the point of those scenes is that it's sexy, but it's not. The makeout scenes are just so painful to watch. Like, literally, when there was a makeout scene on screen, I was literally texting my friend. Not even joking. Like, there's a makeout scene, and I was texting my friend saying, oh yeah, I'm watching this pile of shit, and he's like, yeah, it's painful to watch, huh? And he's like, hell yeah. I don't know why I rented this movie at all. I don't think this movie should have been rented. I think this movie should have been, like, disappearing. And of course, it made a lot of sequels. So, it's kind of memorable of how terrible this movie is. There's even a funny makeout scene that I couldn't stop laughing at. Is that Christian Grey gets ice and puts it on Anastasia. Anastasia's like, and I was killing myself laughing of how stupid that scene was. Seriously, guys, the makeout scenes are just not even sexy. They're freaking horrible. It's just hysterical to watch. I'll give it one thing. The positive of this film that I would give it is the cinematography. Sam Taylor Johnson did hire a good cinematographer because the movie does look really good. But that is total it. Seriously, if I would like cook a movie or something like that and it will be burnt and maybe like throw it away forever, that would be 50 Shades of Grey. This movie is totally a terrible movie. And I wasn't excited for this movie at all. I know this movie's gonna be shit. And the books, how did it get even so popular? Because the books probably are the same thing as the movie. Because this movie is totally the biggest piece of shit of 2015. I really don't like 50 Shades of Grey. My god, I can't believe it made sequels. Of course, it's based on 3 books. It has to make sequels. Like, it's like there is no escape. Seriously, guys, overall, 50 Shades Grey is one of the biggest pieces of shit that I've ever seen in my life, and I cannot believe of how terrible this movie is. I'm giving 50 Shades of freaking shit an F! So guys, my next review is going to be 50 Shades Darker. Why does it make sequels, for God's sake? Just because it's based on a book doesn't mean you have to make sequels to it. So guys, have you seen 50... Actually, you know what? Don't worry about what I said. Just say, have you seen Twilight? At least that movie's better than this piece of shit. There's a lot of people that like Twilight, so what do you think of Twilight? Comment below, let me know what you think. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and have a nice day.